played football. And I was never the biggest, the strongest, the fastest, or the most talented. But it was my work ethic that got me to where I was on the football platform. So, my senior year of college, I was doing really well. I had worked hard, really hard during the off season, and I was doing so well doing the first 4 games that I actually got an invitation to a combine where there would be NFL scouts, CFL scouts, right? So I was doing real well. 4th game of the season, I completely tore my rotator cuff. I had 2 major tears in my rotator cuff, split tear in my labrum, and it's been a year since I've been able to fully lift my arm, and I still can't. Thankfully, I had a really strong work ethic, because that's the thing that got me to where I was, right? So this summer, I had just graduated, glory be to God, with my bachelor's degree in kinesiology. So this summer, I'm like, all right, my shoulder's messed up, but what other muscles can I work in the meantime, right? Stay ready so you don't got to get ready. So I'm like, all right, I'm back at the crib, I'm back home. Now I'm finna get this job membership. I'm finna get, this and that to keep me going. And I was watching all different types of sermons and motivational videos to keep me going, right? And although I had this strong work ethic, I had suffered from many, many concussions throughout my football career. And I suffered from my worst one my senior year of college last year. And I actually suffered from post-concussive syndrome. Short-term memory loss, long-term memory loss. My ability to retain information started getting bad, and I suffered from my worst concussion first game of the season where I actually went unconscious for a few seconds. And I had many growing up, and it started paying a toll on me this past summer. And I was actually working a customer service job where my boss would constantly tell me what to say to the customers, and I would forget. I was forgetting anything, any little conversation that I had, I would forget. I couldn't remember anything that I got from my degree, even the motivational videos and the sermons that I was watching to keep me motivated, I would forget. I couldn't remember. And I was getting mad and angry and frustrated, right? I had already lost football, which I loved dearly. I had that on that field. And then the one thing that I had was my work ethic, and I was losing that. And one day, I took a step outside because I was just so worked up and overwhelmed. And one of the symptoms to post-concussive syndrome is excessive crying. And I'm not a crier. I can probably count on my hands the amount of times I've ever cried in life. But one day, I was just worked up and overwhelmed. And I took a step outside just to get some fresh air. And tears start coming down. I'm like, bro, tighten up, bro. Like, what you crying for? Tighten up. And not only did tears start coming down, but I started sobbing. And I was trying my hardest not to cry, but I couldn't stop. And it kept getting worse and worse and worse. I had maybe 2 episodes like that this summer, and it was all downhill from then. I fell into depression, and eventually I wanted to commit suicide. I was like, what was the point of living? And I was resorting to everything to try to ease the pain, drinking, smoking, and eventually I wanted to kill myself. I felt like there was no point of living. Didn't have ball, didn't have football, didn't have my mind. What good was I, right? So then I was told about this all-men's conference called The Crucible, 2 days. That's all that this conference was, 2 days. And it was one thing that we all had in common, and so does everybody else in this world, is that we all got wounds. And these wounds can come from anywhere. They could be mommy wounds, daddy wounds, wounds from peers. And most of these wounds that we have, they come from an earlier stage in life. And I don't care how successful, I don't care how much bread, I don't care how hard people think they are. Everybody has wounds that's holding them back. And it wasn't until I was able to truly be honest with myself that I was truly able to start living my best life. I had wounds that I didn't even realize that I had because I wasn't honest enough with myself to take a step back, reflect and analyze my life, right? We're so used to going with the punches, going with the flow, and I'm just trying to maintain, right? And many people, they cover these wounds up in their relationships, their jobs, and success. And many people take these wounds to their grave, and they never live up to their full potential. I can lie to y'all. Y'all can lie to me. can't lie to ourselves. And so many times people try to nowadays, and it's so easy to nowadays with people rocking all different type of masks with social media, right? Pretending to be this, pretending to be that. I was wearing the biggest mask, pretending like everything was okay. I heard about this one rapper who pretended to go to jail just to look hard. Crazy, right? What I got from that weekend was honesty, vulnerability, and power. I learned that I have to own my truths, right? We hear it all the time nowadays. I'm real, I'm cut from a different cloth, I'm 10 toes down, right? But was I really real? How could I be real and I wasn't 100% real with myself? How could I love anybody else and I didn't fully love myself? The soul of a man doesn't have a color. And that weekend, in a matter of 2 days, I was able to get brothers for life. Closer than I ever was with my twin brother. Closer than I ever was with anybody in my family. And I come from a good God-fearing family, right? How? In a matter of 2 days with strangers. Just because I went to war with those men. And we fought the inner battles together. And we came out on the other side victorious. It was only because I was able to first be honest and vulnerable. And in that is power, bro. I never cried so much that weekend than I did my whole life. And oftentimes, especially in men, we're taught that showing our emotions is a weakness, right? Especially when you're raised in the hood, we got to be hard, right? But if showing my emotions was weak or easy, it would be easy to do it. And everybody would be doing it. But what most people don't understand is that meekness is strength under control. And all of us are going through stuff, but we keep it buried. And it's eating us alive, man. And we've all heard the saying that pain is weakness leaving the body, right? But it was pain in those tears. It was pain in those tears, and I had to let that out. I had to get that out. And it wasn't until I was able to first be honest and vulnerable, fully love myself, fully embrace myself, and all my insecurities, all my flaws. It wasn't until I was able to go deep down into them dark, unknown shadow parts of me that I didn't want nobody to know. I was actually able to find the light and gold and truly be set free. Society tells us that we have to be this way or look this way and all this negative stuff about us, but we don't. It's through my flaws, it's through what I've been through, we go through stuff. It's through my trials and tribulations, that's what allows me to relate, connect, and grow. If I ain't been through nothing, I want to be able to relate, connect, and grow. There was only one person who was ever perfect, and that was Jesus, man. And the last thing that I got from that weekend was power. I got power. Y'all got power. We all do. By show of hands, how many of us work a job or know somebody who works a job, right? We all do, right? And that's something that they need to do, that they're supposed to do to provide, to pay the bills, right? And that's not to say that that's a good thing or a bad thing, but it was changing the I had to into I choose to. It was changing the I had to into I choose to, which made me start taking ownership in every decision that I made. Y'all had a choice to be here today. You had a choice to get dressed. You had a choice to brush your teeth. I had a choice to give in to this. This was real, my concussion, but I had a choice to give in to this, man. I also had a choice to stop letting the devil steal my joy. I had to stop blaming my situation. I had to stop blaming my circumstance. I had to learn to fully love myself, fully embrace myself, and in that is power. Not only do I got power in the choices that I make, but my words have power. Many people go through life only hearing the negative about them and not the good. And I had to learn that I got to speak the truth over the lie, man. What does the Bible say that I am? I had to learn. You have to learn to encourage yourself in the Lord. I am smart. I am adequate. I got the mind of Christ. I'm more than a conqueror. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, man. Love is power. The Bible says that we're heirs. We're royalty. You know what that means, right? We're kings and queens. And kings and queens, we bring order to chaos, man. We bring order to chaos, but it's only when I'm leaning into truth where I can begin to start making real, true power moves. And I can't do it by myself. I can't. Nobody can. It's too much for me. It's way too much for me. This life too much for me. The devil, he too big for me. But God is bigger than them both, and he on our side. If God is for us, who can be against us? How many of us have heard of a redwood tree? Anybody? These redwood trees, they're the tallest trees in the world. How many of us have seen the movie The Planet of the Apes? We all have, right? Right. So in this movie, the apes, they were hiding in the redwood trees, and they were trying to shoot the gorillas. They were like, just shoot them. They hiding behind the tree. But what they didn't realize is that these redwood trees are anywhere from 20 to 30 feet wide. These redwood trees reach on average anywhere from 300 to 350 feet. The tallest redwood tree is 380 feet. The Statue of Liberty is 320 feet. That means if I go to the very top of the Statue of Liberty, I'll still be looking up 60 feet to these redwood trees. Crazy, right? These redwood trees live on average anywhere from 500 to 1,000 years old. The oldest redwood tree still standing to this day is 2,000 years old. That means that thing was back here during the BC days. Crazy. These redwood trees, they used to be scattered all across the world, but now they're only found in the West Coast, in Cali, Washington, and Oregon. Any normal tree that we've seen outside of or that we walk by, just as high as that tree goes up, its roots go just as deep down. So if I look at a 100-foot tree, its roots go down 100 feet. 50-foot tree, roots go down 50 feet. And these redwood trees and these normal trees, they live in a similar ecosystem that get these crazy, huge gusts of wind. And these normal trees, they're blown down easy. How? They go 100 feet up and 100 feet down. They're blown down easy. But these redwood trees, they go almost 400 feet up. Their roots only go down into the ground about 6 to 12 feet. 400, 6. That's as deep as we bury a body, 6 to 12 feet. How can they last for thousands and thousands of years? It don't make no sense, do it? That's because they're not standing alone. They intertwine with the redwood trees around them. And they don't just stretch for feet or yards or even meters. One source says that these redwood trees stretch anywhere from 20 to 40 miles wide. It don't matter how 10 toes down I think I am. It don't even matter how rooted the ground that I am in my word. If I'm in that thing alone, the things of this world, life get hard. And the things of this world will shake me and break me. The devil wants to get me alone and kill me and steal my joy. It's only when I'm leaning and intertwined with brothers, sisters with sisters, and we walk in honesty, vulnerability, power, and love. That thing gets to ooze off to my kids. Generation to generation, thousands and thousands of years, we're able to stretch from city to state to country to continent. Love is power, man. Love is power. The Great Commission, Great Commandment talks about loving the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength, right? It says, love your neighbor as yourself. How could I have possibly loved the Lord my God with all my heart, mind, soul, and strength? And I didn't fully accept and love myself for who he made me to be. I would lay down my life for anybody in this room. Whoa, bro, you capping, bro. No cap. Because I fully love myself and accept myself for who Christ made me to be, I can love the Lord my God with all my heart, mind, soul, and strength. And therefore, I can love my neighbor as myself. And it's not just about religion. It's not just about tradition. It's about relationship as well. You know, we've all been in a relationship with a family member, somebody close to us, mom, dad, auntie, uncle, grandma, significant other. And it's through that time that we spend with them, they let us know what they don't like, you know, what they do like, what pleases them, what doesn't please them. We know the petty stuff that we do to get on their nerve, but it's through that relationship where we know them, where we get to know them, right? Where we build that connection. It's the same thing with God. Through the time that I spend with him, he's going to show me. He's going to reveal to me what he likes, what he don't like, what makes him happy, mad, sad, but it's through that relationship, man. It's one thing to be set free, but it's another thing to be made free. We've already been set free from what Jesus did on the cross, but to be made free is to walk in that freedom. And many people, they talk about self-worth, self-value, right? We're supposed to value ourselves. We're supposed to know our self-worth, right? But in order for me to know the worth or value of something, I must first know the price that was paid for it. And Jesus paid the ultimate price, man. No greater love than a man lay down his life. He came up off the throne to give us life. We've been bought at such a high price. He paid the ultimate price. He gave his life so that we can have life. In order for me to love myself, I must first accept myself for who Christ made me to be. In order for me to accept myself, I must first know myself. And we only know something by the time that we spend with it. So I want to challenge you tonight. When you go home, this is the same challenge that I took, and it's changed my life. It's changed my life, and I challenge you to take this same challenge. You go home tonight, shut off the TV, shut off the phone, get away from everything. And I want you to get alone with you, God, paper and pen. And I want you to begin to write out the truths about you. Nobody else, just the truths about you. And these may be truths that other people may already know, right? I can lie to you, you can lie to me, but we can't cap to ourselves. Write out the truths about you. Why? What is this going to do? The truth will make you free. And it's understanding the problem. That's the first steps into our freedom. And the Spirit feeds on truth. The word of God is true, but the words that I say can be true or false. And many people, I feel like I've reached my spiritual limit. I feel like I've plateaued. Maybe because we stopped leaning into truth. I want us to get those truths out. Write those truths out. And then once you write them out, this is the hard part right here. I want you to find somebody that you love, somebody that you trust, and share these with them. The Bible says, confess your faults one to another. He will be faithful and just to forgive you of them and cleanse you from all unrighteousness. And I don't want you to just stop there on another sheet of paper. I want you to title this, The Gold That I See in Me. The gold in me. And I want you to write down every good thing about you. I am smart. I am adequate. I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. I'm made in the image of God. I'm a king. I'm a queen. I'm an heir. I'm royalty. And write out these affirmations and hang it up somewhere in your room, in your crib, in the bathroom. This is what's going to allow you to speak the truth over the lie, because life gets hard. Life gets real. But the weapons of my warfare, the battles that we face, is not in the natural, it's in the spiritual. And I got to speak the truth over the lie. I'm not moved by what I see, I'm moved by what I believe in the word of God. We've got to combat that with the word. And it's like, what is this going to do? And I don't want you to go home tonight and make these big changes, right? I've done it. And I'm pretty sure many other people have, right? We listen to a good motivational speech, a good sermon. I'm never finna do this ever again. I'm finna quit smoking. I'm finna quit talking to this shorty. I'm finna cut everybody off. 2020, right? But the war isn't won in one day. And I don't want us to go home and make these huge promises, because when we get to tweaking a little bit, when we get to falling off, now we get down and discouraged and we depressed and we just quit. These big old boats, these big ships, get steered by a small rudder. And if I whip that thing 180 degrees, turn it real quick, right up, all at once, that ship is going to go tumbling over. But if I just change the course of that boat 1 degree, just one, I may not see the boat move instantly, but miles and miles down the line, that boat is going to be going in a total opposite direction. You got to win the battles to win the war. You got to get the first down to get the touchdown. and this is the first step.